Hi Daniela, my name is Crystal, and I'm currently working towards my bachelor's in fashion design. Do you ever come to a point where you feel like you're not good enough for the industry and that your designs aren't good enough? Could you tell me how to get through that phase of doubting myself? I truly love to design clothes, but I feel like I have no creativity and I just want to be confident and find who I really am as a designer. Any tips? And she also says, my professor makes me feel dumb and useless whenever I ask her a question, and I feel like I'm not learning anything from her. So I decided to transfer next semester, and I don't know if I'm wrong for going to another school or if I'm making the right choice. I'm at a point where I feel so lost, I rethink my choices, and I've always come back to fashion design. I love the struggle of designing because I know the outcome will be amazing. So, Crystal, I wanted to share your notes with everyone because I think the community have a lot of fashion designers who are going through the same issue and problems as you are. And I can relate to this because in my early days when I was starting to design about 11 years ago, there were times where I felt very unconfident about myself and my design and work. I feel like this is a lot of struggle for designers, and I think we should talk about or have a discussion about the struggles that we have emotionally when we become a fashion designer. So, we are going to unveil the curtains and talk about it. So, first, I want to say to you, Crystal, that you are worth it. For you to go ahead and go to school for fashion design and pursue a career in design says that you're worth it. It's an idea, and because you have this idea, you should pursue it. So I say that is foremost very important that you are worth it. As far as confidence concerned, I think confidence comes in different stages of your life. Um, it has to deal with experience. You have to grow within yourself as a person and truly understand what you really stand for. And that takes time to grow, especially when you're like young and you're starting off and you like need some type of guidance to give you a guide on what to do next and you're not sure yet. This is the time where your confidence is not really strong enough because you're still trying to figure things out, and it's totally normal. I think every designer goes through this phase. Some designers have a great mindset and they know exactly what they want to do, and some has to take time to to develop that. I, for one, I feel like I'm a slow person. I don't learn as quickly as another person does, and that's who I am. And as much as I want to be like a fast learner, I try to become a fast learner, but it just messes me up all over the place. So the best thing for me to do is just take my time and learn it the way I can receive it, you know? So that took time for me to understand myself and be okay with it, because when I was in fashion school or when I was working on a job, the pressure would come on as to get things done quick, 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 and I would panic. Like sometimes I'd be like, well, I can't get it done as fast as possible because I just can't do it, and it made me feel so horrible. I remember one time, my first job when I was working in a fabric company, I think I was doing something and I made a mistake or I didn't listen, and I didn't jot it down, and that's very important to jot down whatever information is given to you, or maybe I didn't jot it down as fast as possible. But anyway, I made a mistake, and my boss had yelled at me so bad, and she didn't yell at me. She didn't really yell at me. She was basically like upset about what I've done, and she kind of like, kind of drilled onto me that you need to take your notes. And I felt so sad that I couldn't get the information the way she told me to do it, and then I started crying in the office. And mind you, I'm like 18 years old, so I felt kind of embarrassed, one, and two, I just felt like, why couldn't I understand it? Like, why couldn't I get it? Why is it that I have to it takes me so long for it to register? And I used to beat myself up for that. And I think as time progressed and I started to understand myself and what ways I can just work around it, then I started to get a little bit more confident. And now to the point where if someone is rushing me, I'm not for you, because I'm a person who like to take their time to do my stuff. Sometimes there are times where you going to be put on pressure to do certain things, but by then you finally feel confident enough to handle that. Like I mean, people can put me on pressure and stuff like that, but I have a point in myself where I'm fully calm about it. Like you can be, hyper and pressured, but I'm not going to distress myself for that. So I think it takes time and years for you to develop that. Life experience happens and you able to grow through that. So don't feel like you're not worthy or you're not good enough or you're not confident enough, and it's going to be like this forever. It's not going to be like that forever. As far as your designs, yes, I think every designer struggle with this. They, sometimes you think you put out the best work and people are not receiving it well, or the not so great kind of work is receiving it well, and you're like trying to decide, like, wait a minute, I'm trying to design some interesting things and people are not getting it, but they just want it to be so watered down, and it makes you feel like, gosh, do I really want to do this? Because this is just not what I wanted. Like, this is not coming out the way I wanted it to be. And it's so hard because you're trying to be creative and show your skills, but at the end of the day, the people just want something simple. As much funky you can get, as much crazy you can get, there's very small selective group of people who appreciate craziness, but the majority is only about simplicity, or I don't want to stand out too much, so can we make this really normalized for me? So it's a constant battle between those two, but I think you should put your best effort forward, and then if anybody wants to water it down, then they can, but at least they reach out to you because they see that your creativity is interesting and they want a part of that. So don't get discouraged about your designs and not being good enough. It takes time for you to grow your art and your work, and it's not going to be the same when you first start or when you're starting. It's not. It's going to get better. You just got to keep remembering that I can do better, and you go out and seek better. Don't just think that this is it. I used to be like that. When I first started, I always dreamed of doing the work I do now, and that was like 11 years ago. I thought my work was bomb back then. I was like, how can my camp be noticed? Why is not people buying my stuff? Or why are people not mentioning me? Because I'm doing the best I can and this and that. And then when I looked back at it, and I'm like, that's not the best work you can put. I'm like, thank God they didn't really see me back then, because I'm not impressed about this work. So it's okay, and it's time, and different strokes for different folks. Some people designs are better than others at different stages of their life, but don't compare yourself. Don't make yourself feel like your designs are not good enough, because that is a stepping stone of you becoming a better version of yourself. Just learn from it and do better after that. That's what Maya Angelou says, and I love that quote from her. Like, when you know better, do better. As far as your teachers making you feel like you're stupid, maybe it's the way she's teaching it. She's not teaching it where you can understand it. So don't feel stupid about it. I'll give you an example. When I was in CAD class, my professor who taught it in a way where it's so confusing and I can't not understand it. It was very hard. And I barely passed the class because I couldn't get it the way he was showing it. So it was until I got a job within the industry that the people around me was teaching me a quicker and faster way to do it. Because in an environment like that, we have to pump out extra. And because I was learning this method that was taking me forever, I was able to learn a new way where you basically sketching outside the box and you're filling it in. And that was so much faster for me. So one technique can work for someone else who's, it can be quick for someone else, and another technique may not. So maybe the way she's teaching you is not working for you, and I know it's hard, and there's probably no one else in the school that's probably teaching it, but at the end of the day, when you leave that area and you go into another space and you have a person who's teaching you so much shorter, it might work for you. School is not the end all be all, because there's so much stuff that you can learn outside of school in the industry that gives you so much shortcuts, makes your life so much easier, and you'll be better because of it. And it's not the way we think it is, like, oh my gosh, this is the only thing in school, like this is it. Like, no, it's not. No, it's not. You don't even know half of the stuff that school is teaching. School does not teach you everything. They don't. And the people who they choose within the school doesn't even show you several methods. They just want to get in and get out. I don't think you should transfer out to your school because of that teacher making you feel stupid. There is an end to this. You're not going to see her forever. I think you should stick it out, because the fashion industry is not what that teacher is giving you right now. It's even more cutthroat. So I think that teacher can prepare you for the ridiculousness that might happen to you in your career while you enter fashion design, because with fashion, you in one day and you out the next, and they don't care. They don't have no remorse. They just move on. And if you are not popular, or you're not driving business, or you're not this, I can get somebody else. There's somebody else who's willing to do this. There's somebody else more eager than you. Who cares about you? Like, that's how they think in the industry. So if you letting that teacher who's making you feel like, I can't stay in this class, I have to say I disagree. I won't let a teacher mess with my future. So I just wanted to talk about that. I hope it helps you, and it helps anyone else who's going through this. A lot of designers struggle with the emotional part of design. It's not glam at 24 hours, and it's not about the perks that comes along with being a designer. It's about the hardships and the emotional part that goes down with design. Like, there's designers who kill themselves because of the distress and depression that comes with designs, and it gets a toll on you when a lot of pressure is put on you. And it's not even about making money. It's about being your best and staying your best all the time. Like, success can come, but you got to keep it. You got to remain hot, and that's another pressure that comes along with design. So I just want to talk about that and wanted to share that with you. Also, I think this would be a good conversation for everyone to join. I think I should continue to do these type of talks. So if you guys have any questions about fashion design, leave them down in the comments, and maybe I'll do more videos like this where we can talk about the emotional, the other side of fashion behind when you pull the curtains of glamour and perks, what is revealed behind that. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching, and that's it. So bye, guys.